What's happening, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Swag Talk. I am your tour guide, C. Wells, and coming at you on this Sunday, we're gonna talk about the MEAC SWAC challenge. As you can see, Alcorn was defeated by North Carolina Central 23-14. Hit the socials down below: Facebook and Instagram. Email swagtalk76@gmail.com. Also, check out the podcast Swag Talk on Anchor.fm or Spotify, Stitcher, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all of that. You can check that out. If you haven't done so already, man, why don't you subscribe to the page, because hey, we're growing rapidly, man. This page is blowing up, and I'd like to thank everybody for that. If you haven't subscribed already, do so. Hit that notification bell while you're there so you can be alerted to when these videos drop. Because we will be dropping a few in, off days of my normal recording schedule. Thursdays is Swag Smoke with me and DJ, so check that out. That's always a lot of fun. Weekly previews will be coming on Wednesdays, recaps on Sundays. Wednesday we're going to preview week 1. A lot of action in week 1, so we're going to talk about that. Before we really get into this, man, I do want to say, for everybody out there, man, in the path of Hurricane Ida, man, please be safe. I'm sitting here in the path of it. So y'all just, do what you can to protect yourself and your family and just be safe. And man, we're gonna get through this. But we're gonna talk a little bit of football. And first and foremost, I want to say I was wrong in my prediction. I predicted Alcorn 38 to North Carolina Central 21, and that game did not happen. I do feel that the beginning of this game, the first half seemed like it was going that way. I personally feel that Alcorn left at least 17 points on the field. I mean, I feel like they left 17 points on the field, but that's not guaranteed. That's not a guarantee that they would have scored touchdowns on those 2 drives that they did not score on. But I feel like the way those drives were going, they could have ended in touchdowns. North Carolina Central did a really good job of just hanging around and keeping themselves in the game. I should have looked at the rosters earlier, man, because quarterback Davius Richard from North Carolina Central is from Belgrade. And if you know anything about those boys out there, Muck, y'all know they dogs, man. And he was a dog. He fought and fought and fought. It wasn't flashy, didn't put up, great numbers, didn't make, spectacular plays, but he fought and he just never got rattled. I think Felix Harper just never really seemed to be in control of the game. Even on that first touchdown drive, he didn't feel like he was in control of the game. I don't know, I think North Carolina Central they were more productive on both sides of the ball on both lines in this game. I think they did a good job of getting pressure on Felix Harper. They sacked him 3 times. They constantly kept him, on the move. I think a couple of times, I think I saw him take off before the pressure even got there. I think he felt like the pocket just wasn't secure for him. The running game for Alcorn had the opportunities. They got a big run by Anderson, a 68-yard run that they did nothing with. North Carolina Central was able to run for 207 yards, which gives Alcorn's defense, that's the 4th time in their last 5 games that Alcorn has allowed a team to run for over 200 yards. They are 2-2 in those 4 games, but that's, I don't know if that's a trend, the fact that they faced a couple run-heavy teams that were able to be successful. They were able to survive a couple of those games, and a couple of them they lost. Ironically, 2 of those 4 games were in Atlanta, so maybe Atlanta's just not the place for them to be right now. But, I just feel like, Alcorn looked the part of a team that had not played in a long time, but North Carolina Central hadn't either, and they had their share of mistakes as well. Like I thought this would be a sloppy game, and it was for the most part. North Carolina Central had 14 penalties for over 100 yards. Alcorn turned the ball over. They turned it over once. North Carolina Central turned it over twice. Obviously it was not going to be a crisp game. If you watched any spring football, especially early in the season, this was just like that. Teams haven't been, they haven't been able to hit anybody else. So they're not, they're not in the shape that they need to be in. They're missing plays that they probably would make, missing tackles, letting guys, get loose, miscommunications, typical first game things. But in this kind of game, when you're a heavy favorite, I think up until game time, the point spread was like 15.5. You're a heavy favorite. You just cannot have an outing like this. That's just, it should not happen. I'm not saying that you guarantee the team away, but you have to find a way to win that game, and you have to put yourself in the positions. I thought they would respond early when they got, when they had a couple opportunities that slipped away from them. I thought they did a decent job of still maintaining the course. But in the second half, I felt more like they started to press. I think they realized that they were playing a team and that they probably should have been beating. And because it wasn't happening, I felt like they were pressing a little bit. They just never really hit any big plays. They had the longest play on the night for both teams was 68 yards by Alcorn, that run play. And then Alcorn's next longest play was like, I think 30 yards, 30-yard pass. So not a lot of super explosive plays, not a lot of opportunities, for super explosive plays. North Carolina Central was steady. They basically were the same team statistically that they were in 2019. About, I think they had 391 yards of total offense, 100 and some odd yards passing, and rush, and like I said, the 201 rushing, they passed for 184 yards. So that's pretty much where they were throughout the season. Felix Harper was 17 of 27 for 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. No sacks for Alcorn's defense. Both teams had 5 tackles for loss. Anderson led Alcorn in rushing with 128 yards on 11 carries. That's good for 11.6 yards per carry. Nico Duffy had 7 yards per carry, 9 carries, 63 yards. Freeman led North Carolina Central with 9 carries for 72 yards, 8 yards per carry. Richard, 9 carries, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That second quarter touchdown right before the end of the half, which, that tight end dropped. I don't know how he dropped that touchdown in the end zone right before the touchdown run by Richard, but that touchdown run there was huge. I think that's when the game really turned, because I feel like North Carolina Central knew they were in the game, but they still hadn't scored yet. So Alcorn, being up 7-0, any points they get would further push North Carolina Central to the edge to push them over. But their touchdown they got right before the half let them know that they were still in this game and that they had a chance. And then they get the ball to start the second half and immediately drive down the field with a 4-minute drive and score. That gives them the lead. And Alcorn just really could not get anything going. They finally got a break with the bad punt snap, and Alcorn was able to drive 28 yards and get a touchdown to take the lead. But Central gets the ball and drives back down and kicks a field goal, and then they get their backs broken by their punt return, which the Cordrington is a nice punt returner. He had an opportunity to bust one earlier. I think he got tackled maybe 20 yards downfield, but that's those are the kind of plays that teams that are underdogs they make. If they're still in games, they make them, and you can fall behind. That's why people always say you have to, put your foot on somebody's throat when you have the opportunity. Alcorn just never took advantage of it. They had opportunities to put this game away. They just never could finish drives, and they allowed North Carolina Central to stay in this game. And you're a heavy favorite. You have to win these kind of games. Now, obviously, with the season being, this is the first game of the season, I'm not going to push the panic button on Alcorn at all. I think it's all good for everybody to, get their memes and jokes off, because that, as opposing fans, that's what you do. You root for somebody, then when they start to mess up, you go ahead and get your memes on. And ESPN definitely allowed y'all to have some memeable opportunities, as they love to do with fans in the stands. So, you're going to have people get those jokes off. But obviously, this is a non-conference game. So Alcorn still has all of their goals ahead of them. But I will say this year, that we can't have that mentality this year, man, that, you know, this is a non-conference game. Oh, we lost, you know, we still can run through the SWAC, which is all possible. But me, including me, and anybody else out here who's doing these, you know, videos or podcasts or any general people out here, we've all been saying all year leading up to this season that this is probably the most important SWAC season in I don't know how long. There are so many new eyes on this conference right now. This was a primetime game, 6 o'clock ESPN. There weren't any other real football games on at this point in time. The only game I know that was going on at this time was like UTEP and New Mexico State, and that game wasn't even on TV. And even if it was, nobody was going to watch it. I missed a fantasy draft for this game. And, you know, this is one of those games that, you know, everybody was watching. And, you know, I spent a lot of time on Reddit during this game. And people, you know, they're wanting to see what you're hyping up. You know, you have a quarterback like Felix Harper, who I think is still going to have a really good season, but he did not play well at all. You know, I mean, he did not look sharp at any point in the game. You know, he still has opportunity to improve, but, you know, there's still some context needs to be put into some things. He doesn't have a whole lot of starting experience. He almost has him and Richard almost have equal starting experience, and Richard's a younger guy. But that, you know, I think Alcorn is going to be okay, but this puts a lot of pressure on that September 11 game against Northwestern State, because I felt like this was as close to a sure win as you can get. That Northwestern State game is very important now. I think that the SWAC needs to win non-conference games. Has been said over and over and over by everybody out here. You know, I don't think anybody said that the SWAC can just, you know, not win in non-conference and be good in conference and it's all good. So this game is even bigger for Alcorn, because now if they were to lose this game against Northwestern State in a couple of weeks, they're looking at an 0-2 start before they head to South Alabama. And I've heard a lot of people say that the South Alabama game is as close to an Alcorn win as you can get against an FBS team. But right now, that ain't looking too certain, because you can't play like this and think you're going to turn it around in 3 weeks and beat, no matter how bad an FBS team is. You're not going to play like this and then turn around and go to their house and beat them. So this season has, you know, the season is not even teetering on the brink, because like I said, there's still a lot of things at stake that can be accomplished. But the SWAC has to start winning non-conference games. They have to start winning this MEAC SWAC challenge. 11 losses and 4 wins in this series is just not going to cut it. You know, this was just not a good outing. I mean, obviously, you know, this team was off for 616 days, but North Carolina Central was off for 644 days. So that cancels out. First game weirdness is always a possibility. You know, this just was a game that just could not really happen the way that it did. And I just, you know, I'm really sitting there watching this game and I'm thinking, you know, this is two different teams. The first, you know, like I said, the first drive that Alcorn had it wasn't the sharpest, but it was a solid drive, and they did what they needed to do and scored. They got the ball, drove down the field, and missed the field goal. You know, you chalk that up, you know, whatever, your kicker is just not on point right now, whatever, but you still driving the football, and the other team is not really doing a lot. They're getting down the field a little bit, and then they're making mistakes because they're getting put in positions that they struggle in, you know, with passing the ball and long down and distance. You're not getting really great pressure on them, but you're still winning. And you know, if you can survive and get to the half, you know, you can make your adjustments and pull this game out. But I never felt like that knockout punch was coming from Alcorn. Even if they were to have a lead, I just never felt like that knockout punch was coming, and they just allowed this team to stay in the game. And, you know, special teams plays, fumbles, interceptions, which Alcorn was, did not throw an interception, but they had even on that touchdown pass, I think with the touchdown pass, maybe with the fourth down conversion Alcorn had, that the center literally rolled the ball to Felix Harper. Obviously you have bad snaps, and that was a horrible snap, but even on their great plays in the first drive, they did not look sharp. And they, there's a lot of work that's going to be done. I know Alcorn's going to, get, round up, circle the wagons, like Chris Berman like to say, and they're going to get themselves together, because I do think this still is a good team. I'm not going to write them off, but you just can't lose games like this. And knowing that you have the perception of the league is up for grabs by everybody. I don't put a lot of stock into that kind of stuff, into outside eyes, but for me, I know that if you're gonna talk it, you have to walk it. And that goes for all of us, all 12 of us. If we are gonna talk about, we're this and we're that, then we all need to go out when our teams need to go out and perform in non-conference atmospheres. So with that being said, obviously one game only. There's, they always say you improve the most between your first and second games. So we'll see, what Alcorn can do. If they can put this game behind them and beat Northwestern State, then this game is just, what it is. It's just a footnote to the rest of the season. You have to start winning conference games to make your conference wins look better, because obviously you can't just keep, bullying your own block. That's just something that cannot be done, consistently. And you have to win these games if you're going to play them. So, I just wanted to, get that out there, because I know it's been said a lot. Everybody's right now getting their memes on, and that's all good, because, if you lose, that's what happens. And especially if you're a heavy favorite, you just can't lose games like this. Excuse me. And at some point, the MEAC SWAC challenge has to start to turn around. And I thought it would turn around this year, because I looked at these both teams, and obviously games aren't played paper, but you just felt like Central was a team that just, they didn't do anything really well offensively. And so I thought that if Alcorn could set the tone of the game, that they would not be able to hang. And they were able to hang, and they found a way to win this game. And now they got Alcorn reeling a little bit. So we're gonna see what Alcorn's made of in a couple of weeks, and we'll preview the week 1 games, which we will be starting with a game on Thursday when Mississippi Valley plays at Murray State. So that's the first game. We have a few games on Saturday and 2 big games on Sunday. Obviously, everybody knows the Orange Blossom Classic, FAMU Jackson State, but also Tennessee State and Grambling is also on Sunday. So that's another game we're going to talk about. And hopefully, man, like I said, if everybody can be safe in this weather and just enjoy yourself. Well, not really, just be safe. And hopefully we can make it to week 1, and everybody can enjoy these football games as the season progresses. So again, as you can see, final score: North Carolina Central 23, Alcorn 14. Game did not go the way that most of us expected. So hopefully we'll have a better outcome in week 1. So that's my time. I'm going to get on up out of here. Y'all enjoy your Sunday as best as you can, and just stay safe, everybody. And we are out of here.